EOD is big bad. I honestly don't feel like EOD was that bad of an expansion. I mean, it's no HOT. I don't think Anet's ever topping HOT clearly at this point, but it's not that bad of an expansion. I found it like okay. The problem I think with EOD is it has no follow-up directly, right? HOT, you get Living World Season 3. And you kind of had Season 2 to follow up to HOT. POF has a bit of Season 3 to follow up to POF. And then after it, you have LS4. EOD doesn't get any of that. We're now directly into this new expansion model. They did mess up Guild Wars 1 Cantha. Yes. They massacred Cantha. Cantha is, I mean, yeah, like some will argue that Factions is the best Guild Wars 1 expansion ever. Even though Factions in Guild Wars 1 is the smallest map and the shortest story. I think let them not touch Cantha for a bit now. I like these one-off stories. Like, it makes sense for Guild Wars to kind of go this route. I still say this. I think it's a breath of fresh air that we're getting unique stories that will be self-contained in their own expansion, right? Because honestly, it has been a detriment when you actually have players who join the game and maybe want to skip to the new expansion only to find out that there is years of storytelling that they have to go through if they want to like avoid spoilers or catch up to stuff, right? When you have a self-contained expansion, you have none of those problems because the story arc is only in that. Sure, you might have to get to know the characters a little bit. However, everything that happens is only in that expansion. So you're not going to have too much of like a catch-up of the story. And yeah, most players will play, they'll get in for the story, and then like they'll hopefully there's other content that they're interested in. I think this kind of helps remove that kind of pressure. You don't have to convince your friend to play the entire game to catch up to your new expansion. People can just play. And there's still, I think, like for the most part, there are, if you are not a story fan, like let's just say you just don't enjoy the story, you can kind of still have this happen, right? You can play POF, not care about the story, and it'll be fine. You'll be able to get your mounts and everything. HOT, same. Likewise with the HOT masteries, gliding, and etc. And getting your Gen 2 legendaries. EOD, same thing. You can access the EOD maps, Gen 3 legendaries. If you don't care for that, then that's fine. However, a lot of players do seem to like want to go in at least some sort of the story, at least some sort of dialogue and the fun parts and stuff. However, in Guild Wars 2, I feel like it's, and I have to say this, I feel like gearing up to level 80 is better done if you just boost to level 80. I don't mind if there's a player who will just boost to level 80. I see this information a lot. Always people are like, level up your first 2 characters to level 80. I think you should at least have one character. You just go from 0 to 80 just for the sake of the experience of saying you've done it. However, there's players who honestly, they're much able to grasp the basics of a game faster than other players. And those players, they don't... Oh, okay, she's doing her thing. I think those players honestly don't need to level up to level 80. They could just start immediately at level 80 account. It's just the reality. There are some players who can pick up a game much faster. A good example of this is Stay Safe and Max, right? As soon as they got into the game, within literally 5-10 minutes of just checking their tooltips, actually reading what their skills do and their traits, they already understood the gameplay and how the combat of the game is supposed to work. Within minutes, they're able to do that. That's not a player to me that needs to do the whole 0 to 80 experience. Like, they could honestly, if they wanted to skip, they would skip, and they'd still be able to figure out how to play the game. Yeah, and that's the other thing with the expansions being one-off stories. It is a tried and tested money-making model. World of Warcraft is the biggest example of that. All the expansions are self-contained stories. Very few of them have actually like huge continuations from a previous expansion. And they have been able to do links. They haven't made them fully self-contained. They've managed to link previous expansion storylines to future ones. They've done very well at kind of linking threads like that. I do think they have to address that core spec problem though with Secrets of the Obscure. Buying the expansion, you don't get the other elite specs. They kind of need to address that. So, but overall, it stands to my point. I think the self-contained will be a way better thing for the game. Price point is very reasonable. Is it what, $25 for an expansion? At the frequency we'll be getting them, I think it's pretty good. As soon as we're done with one, because they'll be releasing, let's say 30%, 40% of the expansion. I'm not sure how much we'll get, but that's roughly how much we probably could expect. And then every quarter we're getting additional until expansion is topped up in 1 year, and then right around the corner the next one's ready to release. Like not waiting, ready to release. So, and yeah, it is kind of like LS, but now you have to pay for it, which I don't mind. This is the expectation, and it makes things easier for you. Now you know what to go in each expansion. No, Connor, the question should be which classes I have. Well, easier classes to get. I mean, Necro, Warrior, Ranger, Guardian. I mean, if those are the classes you want, those are like the easier ones to get into, and they're almost always demanded in some sort of meta or gameplay. Yeah, honestly, I would rather this model than the model where we have to wait so long for a expansion, you know. Because 3 years for the first expansion of the game, with Living World Season 1 and 2 out. 2 years, POF was actually like a taken back announcement. And then you have EOD, which is even longer than that. So it's clear that like trying to do this Living World model doesn't work out. But however, making Living World expansion and rebranding it and then just merging expansions and Living World into this current model we have. Look, first of all, I think people need to get over the fact that you're getting the Living World for free. Okay, like that is honestly, I don't know what was the business behind that. Give away content like that free. They gave Skyscale a expansion worthy mount, Skyscale, for free on an episode of Living World. Right? I think it's just the fact that people have been used to getting Living World seasons for free. Now that it's being paid for because they've merged the models of expansions and Living World together. And I get it. Yeah, you got it for free and now you're not. But honestly, the game has to make money. Like they have to make business happen, right? It's a business at the end of the day. And honestly, the Living World was way too generous of them. And also the other thing is that oh, we're almost done here. Oh nice, we actually got it. So I think the other thing that comes with it is that with this also coming through, I think we could see them experiment, because I think with Weapon Master training is being the main thing here for this expansion. Who knows, maybe down the line they add elite specs. I honestly don't think we need more elite specs, but they could down the line. But this model here makes it easier for them to balance things around. Just eases the job for them. Overall, the expansion, we get all the content launch, but so it's much more spread out. Yeah, it is. I think that is an issue, is that it is spread out. However, we'll have to... Honestly, it's not even this one. We'll have to see how it works in the next expansion after this. Because I think Soto is like their trial one, and it's really the one that is after where we'll probably get an idea of how they're going to balance new features or other stuff, right? I think it's going to have to be that one, the one that comes out in 2024. Yeah, they were definitely spread out. I mean, it's clear that they cannot do Living World and honestly, Living World is not easily marketable, right? Like, we know what Living World is, but a lot of players don't. People outside of Guild Wars 2 don't know what that is. You have to explain to them that that's like a DLC of the game. You know what I mean? So you have to explain that, and that's the issue with it. Yeah. So overall, I think, to me, this is if this is what's gonna take for them to pump out content more regularly, then so be it. I think it's a fine model for them to come up with. So let's hope for the best. And honestly, let's see how it goes out, and hopefully it succeeds. I honestly want it to succeed.